2:05 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. Wet and windy today. Rain with us for the next couple of days. Good afternoon. I'm Dan Mitchinson. Here's what's happening. Brett Crozier, the Navy captain and Santa Rosa native who was fired last week, has tested positive for the coronavirus. The Press Democrat reports his family confirming his diagnosis today. Crozier was relieved of his position on the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt after he submitted written pleas for help to protect his crew from the ongoing pandemic. He is among 150 other crew members who have also tested positive. 50-year-old commander began having symptoms before he was removed from the warship on Thursday. We'll have more reaction to this throughout the afternoon here on KCBS. Tickets, meanwhile, have been handed out in Monterey County to people violating the shelter-in-place order. KCBS's Jennifer Hodges tells us, now these aren't tickets that you can just pay and be done with.
Monterey police were called out to an apartment complex with reports about a large gathering and noise. Several citations were handed out to people for violating the shelter-in-place order. And these citations don't just involve a fine.
It actually creates a whole issue with the court system wherein the person is now going to have an attorney and go through the court process once the district attorney files those charges.
Monterey Police Chief Dave Hober.
The court then can either determine if they are going to send that person to jail, put them on probation, and almost always there's some sort of a fine related to the costs of what occurred with that.
Chief Hober says most people are in compliance with the shelter-in-place order, and up until now, they've only had to issue warnings. Jennifer Hodges, KCBS.
The coronavirus continues to impact the Bay Area with 3,531 cases and nearly 90 deaths throughout the state. Health officials report 14,002 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 321 deaths. Santa Clara, though, remains the most impacted county with more than 1,100 cases and nearly 40 deaths. The co-chairman of a COVID-19 task force formed by Governor Newsom says the state is working on several fronts to get their hands on more testing kits and kits that can yield results in minutes, not days. Here's KCBS's Jeffrey Schaub.
Paul Markovich is president and CEO of Blue Shield of California. He says just within his organization, there are 30 volunteers helping identify sources of test kits.
What we're really focused on as a group is trying to understand where the supply might be. As you can imagine, with a worldwide pandemic, there's lots of people all over the world looking for a lot of the same supplies to do testing.
Despite that, the governor has set the lofty goal of testing 750,000 people in a month, where only 126,000 people in California have been tested so far.
We will certainly improve the throughput of the existing labs just by having a centralized place where the state can decide where to take scarce supplies.
He says even after the virus subsides in California, the need for test kits will be critical.
And people start going out into the public. In order to keep the virus contained, we have to be able to quickly identify who has it, trace back to the people that they had been in contact with, test those folks, and determine who should be quarantined. If we can do that, then we can start opening up society again and contain the virus. But it all hinges on whether we can do this broad testing.
Jeffrey Schaub, KCBS.
Just ahead on KCBS, does the coronavirus count as an act of God? We're going to look at what this might mean for some important contracts. 2:08 right now at KCBS. We're starting off in Oakland this time around. Here's Peter Schofield.
It is 80 westbound right at the 880 split. Both of those crashes have been cleared as you enter the Bay Bridge maze, and the backup to Powell Street, that is getting thinner by the minute. In Tracy, the Altamont Pass, 580 eastbound before Grant Line Road. The crash that at one time had all lanes blocked has been cleared from the right lane, and I can't see the backup beginning to dissolve, but still you get some brake tapping eastbound 580 as you approach the Stone Arch Railroad Bridge in the Tracy direction. In San Jose, 280 northbound at Highway 87. Watch out for some flooding that's covering the two right lanes, partly responsible for an earlier crash. The crash itself the crash is long gone, but the flooding is still there, so watch out for that. In the Santa Cruz Mountains, Highway 17, both directions looking pretty good right now with no significant delays between Scotts Valley and San Jose. And in Morgan Hill, 101 northbound at Tennant, the crash that was blocking the right lane is gone, so traffic through the Coyote Valley is at the limit. That's 101 between Gilroy and San Jose. Your next traffic update, 2:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Bay Area forecast, we will continue to get some gusty winds, although a wind advisory for the southern Monterey Bay and Big Sur coast has been canceled. The wind's dying down there. However, a chance of thunderstorms still in the forecast for this afternoon, and tomorrow we could get some hail with that. Look for overnight lows in the 30s and 40s, and tomorrow rainy and windy with hail likely by the bay and inland. Temperatures in the mid-50s to about 62, maybe 63 degrees. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time 2:11. Force majeure has been called the acts of God clause in contracts. So as KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports, there's a lot of talk about whether it can be applied to contracts broken because of the coronavirus.
Force majeure is a legal concept that can excuse performance of a lease agreement or a contract when an event occurs that is completely unforeseeable and unanticipated.
So we asked legal analyst Stephen Clark, does that description fit this pandemic and the shelter-in-place orders?
Certainly people will try to get together to work through contractual arrangements, but if they can't, ultimately, whether or not the coronavirus pandemic excuses performance in a particular contract will be decided by the courts.
Courts have gone both ways on pandemics in the past in other parts of the world. So what if you have a prepaid vacation or a wedding coming up or a lease you need to break on a small business space?
What's important to do now is go back and review your lease agreements to see what, if anything, is discussed about the force majeure concept and whether the payment of rent can be waived or deferred for a period of time.
It's something a whole lot of us are going to be doing this year.
The force majeure issue in these legal contracts is going to be the hot issue of 2020.
Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
Federal judges are denying thousands of prisoners in California to be freed, a move that would ease crowded conditions. The prisons have been compared to tinder boxes by attorneys representing inmates, saying that they could ignite a rapid spread of this coronavirus. Inmates' attorneys, meanwhile, have been invited by 3 judges to file a new motion with 2 individual judges who oversee major class action lawsuits regarding inmate care. One of the attorneys representing the prisoners say they will refile the motion as soon as possible. State officials say they already have taken significant steps. Sports in 2.5 minutes. Kevin's back here on KCBS.
Hi, this is Chris from Airport Home Appliance. During the ongoing public health emergency, our stores will remain open with reduced hours and staffing to meet the basic needs of our local community. We will also continue delivering appliances to ensure our customers can care for themselves and their families throughout this difficult time. Please check our website at airportappliance.com for up-to-date store hours and information. We are truly grateful for your continued support. Thank you and take care.
Provident Credit Union believes that when you move, you shouldn't have to start over when it comes to your home financing. With their movable mortgage, your rate moves with you, so you don't have to let the thought of losing your rate keep you from finding your dream home. Visit ProvidenceCU.org to learn how their movable mortgage could save you thousands. That's ProvidenceCU.org. Certain restrictions apply. All loans subject to credit approval. Equal housing lender. NMLS 412725.
It all starts with one thing. It's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and we are celebrating with 50 ways in 50 days. Tip number 18. Bring a thermos or coffee mug into work. This can cut down on the amount of plastic bottles and disposable cups that you might normally use as you drink beverages throughout the day. It all starts with one thing. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing? Show us by using #OneThing. That's #1thing.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but you thought it'd be too hard or take too much time? Then go to Babbel.com, download the app, and try it for free. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. And right now, you can try Babbel for free. Babbel starts out teaching you words and phrases by matching them with pictures. You won't believe how easy the interactive program is. Soon the sentences get a little bigger, and before you know it, you're having simulated conversations voiced by native speakers. And because Babbel is crafted by language experts and uses the spaced repetition method, in just 10 to 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking the language of your choice with real confidence. With Babbel, you can speak a language. Just go to Babbel.com and start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free. Download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com and try it for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Coming up on KCBS, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson taken to the hospital this afternoon, and the Queen addresses the nation in a rare televised event as the UK sees nearly 621 coronavirus deaths in a single day. We'll take you to the UK for a live update coming up in about 5 minutes. Right now, over to the sports desk, and here's Kevin.
A big debate going around the NBA this past week with the coronavirus pandemic throwing the possible return date into flux. One idea popped up about the possibility of staging the playoffs late summer in an isolated location with the players being tested and then playing games in empty arenas. Former NBA center Kendrick Perkins wasn't having it on ESPN.
I need basketball like old people need soft shoes. But with that being said, I'm totally against this idea. Like at this part of time, I have a wife and 4 kids, and if I was in the NBA at this part of time, there's no way that I would be leaving my family during this pandemic of this coronavirus. There's no way.
Jay Williams, a former Duke and Chicago Bulls guard, says if he made millions of dollars, he would not be down with playing games in that isolated scenario, but understands those who might consider that option.
I think you have such a dichotomy of different levels here, and it's just not easy to say, I would never go do that. It depends upon your situation.
So many unknowns in the mix. We'll talk NFL coming up. At the sports desk, Kevin Radich, KCBS.
Critical information.
The numbers continue to climb.
Comprehensive reporting.
Santa Clara County is still the Bay Area's leader when it comes to these awful numbers.
We are the Bay Area's news station, KCBS.
Are you concerned about the impact of COVID-19 on your retirement savings? Rick Edelman here. That's a silly question, really. Of course you're concerned. Right now, you need to know if your retirement strategy is the right one for this new world we've all suddenly found ourselves in and for what might come next. So, to help you during these difficult times, we will give you the answers, and we will do it for free. Just call us at Edelman Financial Engines at 888-PLAN-RIC. And by phone or videocon, we'll give you a free retirement review. We'll evaluate your current situation and your investment portfolio and tell you what you need to do right now. We've provided vital assistance like this to folks just like you through every financial crisis of the past 34 years, and we're here to help you right now. There's no obligation, but you do need to call us by Monday, 10 p.m. Call 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC, and call us right now.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
KCBS News Time, 2:18. 6-day forecast coming up in a moment. Right now, out to the roads. Here's Peter Schofield.
Thank you, Dan. We're looking at San Jose. This is 101 southbound, just past Hellier. It's a couple of cars spinning out and then into each other. The second lane from the left is blocked. One of those cars is too badly damaged to move away on its own, so a tow truck has been called in. Until it gets there, you'll have some brake tapping. Southbound 101 approaching Hellier Avenue. In Dublin, 580 eastbound. This is before the Dublin interchange. I would put it closer to the exit for Foothill San Ramon. This is a solo crash into the center divide, but the car bounced off the center divide, came to rest in the second lane from the left, which is where it sits, and the backup there about, well, just under a quarter mile. Up ahead on 580 eastbound before Grant Line Road on your way into Tracy. That crash that was blocking the right lane is gone, and the backup behind that is dissipated as well. Caltrain is running 42 trains per weekday instead of the usual 92, and the Baby Bullet service has been suspended, but the Caltrain weekend schedule is unchanged. Also for Caltrain, they're all done with the closure of those two northernmost stations as the work on electrification is done. Your next traffic update at 2:28 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
Oh, sorry about that, Peter. A 6-day forecast right now calls for continued showers on and off through tonight, it looks like. Temps dropping into the 30s and 40s. We'll have a chance of rain again tomorrow with thunderstorms likely by the bay and inland. Maybe a little bit of hail as well, 50s and 60s. And then as we look ahead into the week, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain in the East Bay on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mostly sunny and warmer. Highs ranging from the upper 50s to mid-60s at the coast. Will hit the low to mid-70s by the bay and inland. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 8s on KCBS. KCBS News Time 2:20. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has just been taken to the hospital after testing positive for the coronavirus. He was actually tested positive for that about 10 days ago or so, but his fever has remained. And we're going to get an update on this and also a speech that the Queen gave to the country. And for more, we're joined on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Sky News reporter Enda Brady. So, Enda, let's start with the Prime Minister. How is he?
Hey, Dan. So he is in a hospital tonight here in central London. His situation, his health condition hadn't picked up really. He's had COVID-19 for 10 days now, and he's been releasing these little video messages he's been making on his mobile phone, and he's been putting them out on social media. But you can actually see in his face and his voice that he's just not right. The temperature has not gone down, and his doctor decided this evening that, because the temperature had been high for a few days, it would be the prudent thing for Boris Johnson to go to hospital. So he's having some tests tonight. We don't know how long he's going to be in hospital for. For as long as he's in hospital, we're told that, unless his condition worsens, he will still be Prime Minister. He will still be leading the country. Obviously, there is a plan in place for others to step in if he worsens. But it's not good. I think it's just the fact that he hasn't shown any improvement in 10 days. And this virus affects everyone very differently. We're seeing some people who can it basically bounces off them, and others get really debilitated, and ultimately we've seen people die with it. But Boris Johnson tonight, right now, in hospital, undergoing tests, and it's a significant development here. It really, really is.
Well, it is, because the death toll has reached almost 5,000 in the UK, and then I just saw that Scotland's chief medical officer has resigned because she had breached a lockdown, going to her secondary home on several occasions. So if you can't even have the chief medical officer stay at home and follow recommendations, I mean, this is going to be tough to get everybody else to stay indoors.
Yes, it is. And, we're here in the UK. We're watching what's going on in France, Italy, and Spain. They're in complete lockdown in Italy. People, I spoke to Italian friends a couple of hours ago. They haven't been outside their property since February 22nd. The UK, it's been quite a sunny day here today. The weather has turned. We're coming out of winter now, and we're getting sunshine. We're getting good weather. A lot of people went out today. They weren't supposed to be out socializing, mixing in groups, reports of barbecues, people going to the beach. We're being warned by the government that if people don't start respecting the lockdown rules, there will be an even tougher restriction coming in the next week or so. So it's been a very, very difficult day for the UK government. Scotland's chief medical officer, she's now had to quit. She had repeatedly gone to her second home, which was in direct contravention of her own advice. Very much, the criticism is that it was very much a case of, don't do as I say.
Yeah.
Extraordinary, really.
And what about the Queen, too? Because just a short time ago, she made a very rare televised address to the nation. What did she have to say?
So this is extremely rare. In 68 years as monarch, the Queen has only done this on 4 previous occasions, all of a significant time when either the monarchy or the country was under threat. So tonight, she was pre-recorded. It was done the other day at Windsor Castle, where she is, because coronavirus is so prevalent in London now. They had to get the Queen and Philip out of Buckingham Palace. So they're in Windsor Castle. The Queen recorded this message. It was just like a couple of minutes long. But she just said to the people of the UK to stay strong, keep making the sacrifices, and together we will beat this virus. She praised the healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, frontline medics in all of Britain's hospitals, and she's just urging people to listen to the authorities, stay at home, beat the virus, save lives. And she ended by saying, I appreciate this is a very, very difficult time for people financially, emotionally, not being able to see family members and loved ones. And she ended it by saying, we will meet again. And this, of course, was Vera Lynn's song during World War II, which lifted the hearts of so many soldiers on the front line. That very famous old tune that Vera Lynn sung in the 1940s. And the Queen poignantly ending her address with the chorus of that song, "We Will Meet Again."
And we only have 30 seconds. I want to ask you real quick, though, this report that people in the UK who have had this virus may have to have passports or something similar to indicate so. What do we know about that?
Yes, some reports in the papers today that once we get a greater picture of where the UK is going with the virus, that people may be allowed out to work, to travel, to mix in society again, if they can prove they've already had the virus. And it could be something as simple as like a stamp in a passport or an identity card for people. But, I mean, we're we're not even near the peak of this, and we lost 621 people today. The UK death toll pushing 5,000 now.
All right, stay safe, my friend. Appreciate it. That is Sky News reporter Enda Brady. On to the Money Watch now on KCBS.
Recent events are a reminder to investors, when you're buying a hot stock, make sure you're actually buying it. I'm Jeff Colvin of Fortune Magazine with the Fortune Business Update. With most of the U.S. population confined to home, online video business meetings, book clubs, birthday parties, and more have become hugely popular, and the number one beneficiary has been the Zoom meeting app. Investors wanting to jump on that rocket went to their online brokerage accounts and clicked on the ticker symbol Zoom. Trouble is, it's the wrong company. The hot stock is Zoom Video Communications with ticker symbol ZM. The Zoom symbol belongs to Zoom Technologies, most recently reported to be headquartered in Beijing, and which in the past 5 years has not made any public disclosure whatsoever, including reporting on its finances or its operations, if any. The stock surged nonetheless until investors figured out their mistake, and then it went right back down. I'm Jeff Colvin.
Looking for essential businesses open in your area while we shelter in place? AltRadioSF.com/local has a complete list in your county. Pacific Coast Termite remains open, available and ready to help you protect your home against termites. Their technicians adhere to social distancing and safety guidelines. Call 1-800-PACIFIC for a free estimate today. We encourage you to support your local businesses, and we are dedicated to helping the Bay Area stay connected. For more information, go to radio.com/stay connected.
I'm Lane Schiffman of Shreve & Company.
And I'm his son, Ren.
101 years ago, my grandfather Arnold,
they called him Mr. A,
was thrust into the family business when his father,
the owner of the store,
got sick and couldn't work.
Thanks for staying healthy, Dad. I would hate to suddenly be in charge.
It wasn't long before Granddad had built a brand new store with money that he had borrowed from the bank.
And then what happened?
3 years later, that store burned to the ground and one of the stores next to it caught on fire.
Did the insurance cover it?
There was no insurance.
He was in a tough spot. How'd he make it?
The bank believed in his integrity, so they loaned him the money to rebuild the store.
So things turned out okay.
That's why I'm telling this story, Ren. The whole world's in a tough spot right now, and I believe in us, all of us. And I know things are going to turn out okay.
Things are going to be okay?
Things are going to be okay.
Thanks, Dad.
Shreve & Company. Here today, here tomorrow, and you will be too.
There are times when our need to connect really matters. To keep customers and employees in the know, to keep business moving, Comcast Business is prepared for times like these. Powered by the nation's largest gig speed network to help give you the speed, reliability, and security you need. Tools to manage your business from any device, anywhere. And a team of experts here for you 24/7. Because when every connection counts, you can count on us. Learn more at comcastbusiness.com/response.
KCBS News Time 2:28. We're back out to the roads, and here's Peter Schofield.
We are looking at this crash in Dublin. It is 580 eastbound, just before Foothill San Ramon. It's a car versus a speeding center divide. The car is blocking the second lane from the left. The fire department is there. It's on the downhill stretch of the Dublin grade, right after you pass Rowell Ranch. And the backup there, just less than a quarter mile, but since it's on the downhill side, you might come up on it suddenly. In San Jose, 101 southbound near Trimble, flooding on the center divide and the left lane led to this crash that is blocking the left lane. That's moving around a little bit as I look at it. You have a tap or two on the brakes as you pass by. AC Transit continuing with rear door boarding on all buses with multiple doors. The suspension of fare collecting until further notice. Please sit at least 6 feet apart from other passengers and the driver. Your next traffic update, 2:38 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
Thank you, Peter. Bay Area forecast, continued chance of small hail and thunderstorms. A lot of rain, too, tonight, Monday. Monday into Tuesday, possibly scattered showers ending late on Tuesday before things warm up for the second half of the week. Overnight lows in the 30s and 40s. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Hi, I'm Kathy Kennedy, registered nurse. We're working every day defending patients and the public against COVID-19, but we need your help. Too many hospitals lack protective gear for healthcare workers. Please tell Congress that we need N95 masks and more. Sign the petition at protectnurses.org. If nurses aren't safe, patients aren't safe. We're nurses and we're advocating for you. Brought to you by the California Nurses Association, National Nurses United.
50 ways in 50 days to celebrate Earth Day. Tip number 18. Bring a thermos or coffee mug into work. This can cut down on the amount of plastic bottles and disposable cups that you might normally use as you drink beverages throughout the day. Show us your one thing by using #OneThing.
News that matters to you around the Bay, around the world, around the clock. All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
It's Sunday afternoon, April 5th, and coming up on KCBS, Governor Newsom takes care of the state's first responders. Sonoma County firestorm victims continue to rebuild, and President Trump says, yes, things are going to get a lot worse before they get a lot better. Good afternoon, I'm Dan Mitchinson, KCBS News Time 2:31. Let's get an update now from CBS News.
CBS News Update. Dr. Anthony Fauci with the National Institutes of Health says mitigation efforts against the coronavirus are helping, but
I will not say we have it under control. That would be a false statement. We are struggling to get it under control.
He spoke on CBS's Face the Nation. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards tells CNN all the ventilators in his state may be in use very soon.
The current date based on modeling is the 9th of April. And then the bed capacity would be exceeded on about the 11th of April.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who has the virus, has been admitted to a hospital for what are called precautionary tests. Queen Elizabeth, who as a princess helped lead her people through World War II, now urges them to be strong again.
While we have faced challenges before, this one is different. This time we join with all nations across the globe in a common endeavor.
She says the virus will be defeated. CBS News Update. I'm Sam Litzinger.
KCBS News Time 2:32. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed an executive order to provide child care to the kids of essential first responders during this outbreak. Healthcare workers, emergency response personnel, law enforcement, even grocery workers will be given access to state-subsidized daycares and after-school programs. The order allows agencies to waive certain eligibility requirements for the programs. The details rolled out in the next couple of days by April 7th. Nearly 2.5 years after the 2017 Sonoma County firestorm, homeowners can resume work rebuilding their houses again after health officials exempted them from a ban on many types of construction. KCBS's Jeffrey Schaub explains.
Construction of so-called fire rebuilds came to a halt 2 weeks ago when the shelter-in-home orders were made in Sonoma County. County Permitting Director Tennis Wick says many homes are in different phases of reconstruction.
We've issued permits for 1,245 homes, and about 85% of those are either under construction or completed.
His department's 145 employees are working from home, equipped with large TV-sized monitors used so planners can view blueprints. Construction inspections are being conducted online using video technology. Wick says it's been a Herculean effort.
I'm really impressed that the different sections in our organization have been able to maintain their spirit, their camaraderie.
In fact, most of Sonoma County's government is being operated remotely, with employees at home using Zoom, Jabber, WebEx, and email to communicate. In the North Bay, Jeffrey Schaub, KCBS.
One person is injured and a barn destroyed in a fire just outside of Vacaville. Fire officials say that fire happened about 6 last night. It took nearly 30 firefighters from 4 different departments to get the flames under control. Officials say the man was taken to a hospital for burns, treated, and then released. A farm animal sanctuary in Sonoma County has taken to giving virtual farm tours. KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports they are great for homeschooling or just pretending you're visiting the farm this weekend.
So pigs can get sunburned?
Yes, they can, yes.
Just one of the fun facts you can take in on Charlie's Acres virtual farm tours. The Farm Animal Sanctuary is in Sonoma, and usually they do give in-person tours, says founder Tracy Vogt.
We house over 140 rescued farm animals who have come from disasters, abandonment, abuse, some directly from the industrial food system, and some from just people who were unable to care for their animals.
You can check out how they're living now with these tours.
Brianna, who is this right here?
This is Gilbert.
Where did Gilbert come from?
We really have enjoyed seeing kids comment on our feeds and ask questions, and it is a really good way for kids to learn about the animals and see the animals in a happy place, but also just ask questions and get to know who they are and find out what the animals are like